Hey, Kevin here, Top 100 Financial Advisor, two-time author, one-time bestseller, and we are here to talk about the stock market. This is a part of our 21-day Q&A series. This is video number 5 out of 21, and the question was, what advice would I give a new investor, especially in 2021? And I thought about sitting down and taking some notes and being very precise about what I was going to say. I'm not. I'm just going to rant for the next 6 to 8 minutes about the lessons that I think new investors need to learn. And it's just the most clear stream of conscience for what you need to know for this year. So we did do a video, I think, on New Year's Eve about the lessons you should have learned for 2020. And some of this is going to come from that vein of comments or whatever you want to say. All right. So the first one is I'm not even going to number these. So number one, you want to be patient as a new investor. All investors should be patient. I will never forget the comment that I got, or it was a comment on a friend's post. So I invested in Apple and it was trash and I lost money. Bruh, Apple was up, what, like 80% in 2020? How? So I asked like, what happened and why? The person was like, yeah, I invested in 2 weeks and it's down. Bro, you've invested for 2 weeks. Like, be patient. Investing is not a lotto ticket where you get in and all of a sudden it doubles, you made 40, 50, 60% or something crazy. That's not how this works. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years. Remember, Apple this year, they did the stock split. They were down for a little bit, but they were still up however much they were up by. And matter of fact, let me double check just to give you the exact number of what they were over the past year. To do this, the easiest way I do this is to go to the public app, because you just type in Apple and it just really gives you the exact number. So I'm going to do that real quick while I am speaking to you. All right. So Apple, exactly, all you do is hit the 1 year button. Apple was up, and that was close, 82% over the last year, even with the stock split, even with the pandemic. Just because you invested in for 2 weeks and you lost $5, that's not a real big deal. Stay in it for the long term, man. Like, come on, it's not a lotto ticket. So that's I keep saying number one, but be patient. It is not a lotto ticket. You want to take your time. You want to choose wisely. And that really kind of goes into my next point. And that one is, don't chase. Do not chase. When I say chase, that means you saw something on, maybe it's a Facebook group, and they say, oh my God, buy this stock, it's $5 a share, and it went up whatever percent. And the only reason that you are jumping into it is because you saw what it did yesterday or what it's doing right now. Not, is the company good? Not, have you analyzed it? Do you know what they do? People just jump into it because they see a huge 200% gain. This happens with penny stocks that are less than $5. And actually add this to that list. Don't invest in anything that's $5 or less, because it fools thousands of people into thinking that if I get in at $5 and it jumps to 10, I would have doubled my money. And it's so close. It's $5 away from doubling. That doesn't always happen. For some people it does, for some people it doesn't, but it's more luck than actual investing. You're kind of moving to that lotto ticket mentality as opposed to an investor, someone who is measured and understands what's going on and choosing the right investments at the right times. And when I say choosing the right investments at the right time, sometimes you are months early or weeks early as opposed to minutes, and you get in and get out and you're just trying to flip stuff. It doesn't work for most people. You will lose more than you will win. For example, remember we had talked about Tesla way before it did its stock split. Maybe I think we were close to like 7 or 8 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks before the stock split. I said, look, I'm not a fan of Tesla. However, I'm going to put some money in now before they split. When they do split, things are going to be very good for Tesla. And guess what happened? It ended up being very well. Same thing for Apple. We said Apple was going to do a stock split, and I was already investing in Apple. But I was saying, look, they're announcing it now. It will not split until later in the year. This is the time you want to get in, and you saw what happened. So again, the easy way is to understand what's going on, what these companies do, and what the economy is expected to do over the next weeks, months, and sometimes years. This is why we put together the 2021 Investing Yearbook to help you put yourself in position now. That way you don't have to really jump in and just follow whatever is going on and chase, like a dog chasing a tire or whatever dogs do. I don't have a dog. But you get the point. You want to be more measured. You don't want to just chase stuff because someone showed you some crazy percent gain because they invested in something that was $1 per share. That's not how this works. And the reason why I know how this works, other than the fact that you can just look at it and look at the comments under any of those, and you see the thousands of people who lost and the thousands of people who got burned by Hertz and Kodak, and that list goes on and on and on, and it will continue in 2021. The other thing is you want to look at is this. I've managed $140 million. I have met with, I would say, more than 100, 120 or so millionaires, and they came to me for the investing decisions. And they would say, hey, look, here's everything I'm investing in right now. I have never, ever saw anyone that became a millionaire because they invested in penny stocks. They were investing in stuff like Apple. At the time, they invested in stuff like IBM. Some of them had Exxon. Yeah, I'm telling you at this point, like, you probably don't want to hold Exxon for too much longer, but I've had some that had Exxon. I think I had already mentioned Apple, Microsoft, like stuff that's been around for a while. These millionaires are not the ones who are calling their advisor and saying, look, I need to buy this and get out of this and do this and do this and do this and do this every single day. They're not checking their account every day either. They are not. Someone asked a question in another Facebook group, how often do you check your account? Some people are like, 20 times a day, 100 times a day, any chance I get, any chance I'm bored. All of those answers are incorrect. The more you check your account, the more emotional you get. And psychological studies have shown us that you are 2 times more likely to react negatively to a loss than you are to a win, which means when you lose $200, you are in the dumps, you're upset, you are frustrated. If you make $200, you're like, oh, okay, cool. That's pretty nice. But they're unequal. You hurt more when you lose. For example, you remember that terrible hurricane. You remember that terrible snowstorm. You remember those really, really bad moments in life. You don't always remember the days where it was a perfect summer day. The weather was perfect. It was a great trip. Nothing bad happened on those days. You don't remember those in the same ways. For example, I'm from Oklahoma. If you're from Oklahoma, you remember the 2007 ice storm to a T. You remember that. I don't remember the perfect, how many perfect winter nights or perfect summer days I had in 2007. I don't know. There were probably more of them than there were snowstorms in my entire life. But again, we tend to remember the bad stuff more. It sticks out a lot more than we do the perfect days. You could also go to like national disasters. I don't want to get too much into it, but you remember 9/11. You remember that. All the perfect days you've had since then, you don't necessarily remember those at all. They were just, good. I had a great day. I made some money today. Cool. Do you remember the day that you got your job offer? After a few years, you probably don't. Do you remember the most you've ever made on a stock to the exact dollar number? Probably not, right? But that kind of goes back to the psychology part of it. So that's why you don't want to check your account every single day. You got 4 times a year that you need to be checking your account. You can choose those 4 times. That means it's quarterly. I don't really go through and make changes and check my portfolio except for 2 times per year. Every Friday, I go and add money, invest in everything, but I'm not sitting here like, where's my account balance? Should I sell this? Should I buy this? No, I'm not. You will catch me in June and you will catch me in December. And that's it. That's it. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. So those are some of the lessons. I could rant on and on and on and on and on about lessons for new investors. But those are the big ones. Don't chase. It's not a lotto ticket. If you miss out on something, there will be another train. All right. Like, you don't have to hit a home run on every single investment. If you only make 10% on something, that's still really good. Remember, the average is 7%. The average is 7%. I told you guys I was in a clubhouse and I had a friend like, yeah, I only made 30%. I'm like, 30% is really good. 30% is really good. I posted on my Instagram, my Roth IRA made 80% in 2020. And someone's like, yeah, I only made 23%. I thought I was doing something. You are doing something. 23% is incredible. The stock market by itself was only up like 15 or 16%. So you did better than that, which is incredible. Don't chase. Don't try and say, oh, well, he just invested in this. Let me just go and do that. Not necessarily. You want to see what works for you and what your risk are. So don't chase. It's not a lotto ticket. Be patient, please. If you're investing in January, you might not see the biggest profit in January. That's fine. That is totally fine. Let things grow. We saw that last year in March when the market was down between March and April it was like down 35% like that within weeks. And then weeks later, it was back and things were fine by like May or June. It was the fastest recovery to any dip that we've had in history. So that goes back to the patience part of it. All right. So those are the lessons. I'm sorry, it's more of a rant, but let me know which one of those lessons have you learned from? Which one spoke out to you most? I know for me that patience part, I really had to understand. Another example that I'm just kind of ranting was Nike. I invested in Nike for my son. We got it initially. We got it like, I don't know, $103 a share, whatever it was before the pandemic. It dropped down to 88. I said, look, Nike's a good company. I even added to one of the lists in the 2021 Investor Yearbook. I said, look, I'm going to keep buying Nike. I know it's good. I'm going to be patient. He's really young. He's 2. He's going to be fine. Nike going to be back. If it's not going to be back, in the next year or 2, it's definitely going to be back by the time he's 18, right? So we bought it at 88. It dropped down to 60. We bought it at 60. And as of recording this, it's at like 141. So yeah, patience. And that was from December, really from December to December, because December 2019 is when I bought more, like $103 a share or whatever it was. It's been 12 months, but you go from 103 to 141. And we picked up those dips in between because we were consistent. And that's another thing, as I keep adding to this rant, is being consistent. So we picked Nike and we just kept investing every Friday. We just keep adding to it. And that's how you grow the money. So what started off as maybe $100 investment is probably a $1,200 investment, and it's made, and I'm making up a number here, it's made another $1,200 because we were consistent, as opposed to trying timing and figuring out what's the best time to buy. And lastly, be measured about when you sell and why. I did an entire video on that. So you want to make sure that you go back and check that out, because I could have sold Nike when it dropped to 88 and came back and dropped and bought it back at 141. Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. So this is where you want to say, look, if I'm selling for a specific reason, something has changed, or if I'm going to be patient and allow the company to continue and to come back. In this case, we made the right decision. Whew. All right. There we go. I think those are all the lessons. Replay it if you need to. But yeah, I just wanted to just, instead as opposed to having like bullet points and all that kind of stuff, just give you the lessons that I wish I had known, and the lessons that I want new investors to know is be patient, be consistent, do not chase. Is not a lotto ticket, and to choose wisely. And that comes from some of the tips that you're learning in this series. 21-day Q&A, and some of the stuff you're going to learn in the Investors Yearbook, which some of you have already gotten. We've got dozens and dozens of people who have already got into it. So you'll make sure you check it out, buildingbread.com/2021. And that'll be it for me. All right. Bye.